The crystalline halls of the Galactic Senate echoed with the chittering of 1,000 alien voices, each representative more convinced than the last that humanity's rapid ascension posed an existential threat to their carefully maintained order. Senator Vexhai of the Zephyrian Collective raised his forearms for silence, his bioluminescent patches pulsing with urgency. Honored colleagues, Vexhai's translator rendered his words into the common tongue. We can no longer ignore the human problem. In merely 50 standard cycles since first contact, they have established colonies in 47 systems, developed FTL technology that rivals our own, and worst of all, he paused dramatically, they have begun to influence other species with their dangerous concepts of individual rights and self-determination. A wave of nervous energy rippled through the assembly. The theocratic dominion of Kethmore's representative slammed his ceremonial staff against the floor. They corrupt the natural order. Our client species speak of rebellion, of choosing their own paths. It is chaos. Senator Yrilla of the Ancient Confederacy, her tentacles writhing with agitation, added her voice to the chorus. Their military tactics are unsettling. They do not follow the codes of honorable warfare. They use deception, asymmetric strategies, and worst of all, they actually expect to win their conflicts rather than participate in the traditional dance of territorial exchange. The debate raged for hours, but the conclusion was foregone. The vote was unanimous. Operation Silent Dawn would commence within one standard cycle. A coordinated strike by the 7 major powers would eliminate Earth and its colonies before humanity could spread its disruptive influence further. What none of them knew was that Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's seemingly naive ambassador, had been recording every word through a quantum entanglement communicator embedded in her diplomatic pin, a pin that every senator had admired for its quaint human craftsmanship. 12 hours later, Admiral Marcus Rivera stood before the holographic display in the war room beneath Mount Cheyenne, watching fleet movements across the galaxy with the satisfaction of a chess grandmaster viewing an opponent's predictable opening. The alien armadas were already moving into position, exactly as the computer models had predicted they would. Ma'am, Rivera addressed President Elena Vasquez, who observed from her secure bunker. Operation Mirror Shield is ready for implementation. And you're certain about the timeline? Vasquez asked, her fingers drumming against the metal table. Absolutely. Dr. Chen's intelligence confirms our projections. They'll arrive in 17 days expecting to find a primitive world with minimal defenses. Rivera's smile was predatory. They have no idea we've been preparing for this since the day we met them. The truth was that humanity had never trusted the Galactic Senate's warm welcome. Earth's best xenopsychologists had spent years analyzing alien behavior patterns, and every model pointed to the same conclusion. Advanced civilizations don't share power willingly. The Senate's elaborate diplomatic protocols, their insistence on proper procedures, and their obvious discomfort with human innovation had been red flags from the beginning. While the aliens saw a young species stumbling through first contact, humanity had been executing a careful deception. Every accidental technological breakthrough had been carefully calculated. Every diplomatic misstep had been designed to make Earth appear more chaotic and less threatening than it actually was. The rapid colonial expansion that so worried the Senate? Each colony was a fortress positioned to create overlapping fields of fire across the most likely invasion routes. On the day of the attack, the alien fleets dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation around Earth, expecting to find a blue-green world defended by primitive kinetic weapons and nuclear missiles. Instead, they found empty space. Earth was, on where the planet should have been, a simple message broadcast on all frequencies. Looking for us? We're behind you. The 7 alien fleets turned as one, sensors screaming warnings as hundreds of human vessels decloaked in their rear formations. But these weren't the crude ships the aliens expected. These were vessels built with technology reverse-engineered. From every alien device humanity had been allowed to study during diplomatic exchanges, Admiral Rivera's voice cut through space on all channels. Honored senators, you seem to have mistaken humanity for prey. We are not. We are the predators your ancestors learned to fear in the dark between stars. The Battle of Seoul lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 3 of the 7 alien fleets had surrendered, 2 had fled to hyperspace, and 2 had been completely destroyed. Earth materialized from its pocket dimension, another impossible human innovation, as the alien survivors watched in stunned disbelief. But the real masterstroke came in the aftermath. Dr. Chen, still playing her role as the naive diplomat, arrived at the Senate with a simple proposal: a new accord that would restructure galactic civilization around principles of species sovereignty and mutual respect. The same principles that had terrified the Senate were now being offered as the foundation for peace. The broken alien powers had little choice but to accept. As the new accords were signed, Senator Vex-High approached Dr. Chen, his bioluminescent patches dim with defeat. "How long have you known?" he asked quietly. Chen's smile was gentle, almost pitying. "Senator, we've been monitoring your private communications since our 3rd diplomatic meeting. Your people encrypt data by shifting quantum states in sequence. It's the same principle children on Earth use for secret codes, just with more steps. But why let us?" "Because, Senator," Chen replied, adjusting her diplomatic pin, "the best way to defeat a conspiracy is to let it defeat itself. You spent so much time plotting our downfall that you never considered we might be plotting yours." The Galactic Senate had thought they were dealing with an upstart species that needed to be put in its place. They discovered instead that humanity had never stopped being the apex predators that had clawed their way up from Terra's food chain. They had simply learned to smile while doing it. In the end, Earth didn't conquer the galaxy through force. They conquered it by being exactly what they had always been: adaptable, paranoid, and 3 steps ahead of everyone else.